Hello everybody, this is Dr. Kahlon from IMG Rank to Match, and this is the third episode of the Rank to Match podcast. As you know, the ECFMG, in line with its commitment to support an uninterrupted pathway to ECFMG certification, has come up with 5 different pathways to achieve the same. If you have already taken your Step 2 CS exam and passed it, then this section is probably not applicable to you. You're already eligible to be ECFMG certified provided you have taken your Step 1 and Step 2 CK. Now, without going into each specific pathway, I wanted to discuss the common requirement that all these pathways have. Candidates should have passed Step 1 and Step 2 CK, and at least one of these should have been in or after 2018. In addition, the ECFMG has created a requirement that candidates need to pass a standardized English language test. Lately, I have been getting a lot of questions asking me about what standardized tests the ECFMG would implement. The other questions I've been getting a lot is, should I take the test now or wait till the official announcement? And if I shouldn't wait until the official announcement to take a test, what is the logic behind that? Another question that a lot of candidates, especially the far-sighted candidates, have been asking me are the other foreseeable changes that might be coming to the match. Now let's start with the most common question. That is, what English language standardization tests I recommend that you should take. Now the most common answer to this question that you would find online is to wait until ECFMG makes an announcement. But I have been recommending my clients to go ahead and take the TOEFL IBT, which is an internet-based test that is administered by ETS, the Education Testing Service. Another viable alternative that I've asked my clients to consider is the IELTS, or the International English Language Testing System. The rationale behind this recommendation is very simple. When the ECFMG announced that they would suspend USMLE Step 2 CS, I had successfully predicted that they would come up with an alternative, and this alternative would likely include foregoing the requirement of taking Step 2 CS. There was a lot of opposition to this idea, and I received a lot of emails and comments from people and internet trolls that it would not happen. But it was the only logical choice if you weighed in the circumstances. And look what happened. They implemented it. I had also predicted that the spoken English language proficiency component can be replaced by standardized English testing, and here we are. To a lot of applicants, the English language test requirement is now creating another hurdle and causing a lot of anxiety. And this is not necessarily because it is a hard test, but more so because the ECFMG has not clarified their guidelines. It has been a difficult journey for all the applicants who are not just dealing with all the changes by ECFMG, but also dealing with the cancellations of clinical placements and electives, travel disruptions, stress caused by the executive order, which is now clarified, and consular problems at US embassies. The last thing any candidate needs at this time is more anxiety. If you look at any top university, you will see that they have standardized English language requirements listed on their admissions page, and this is public knowledge. Few tests that you would see over and over again are the TOEFL and the IELTS. There's another test by Pearson which appears pretty frequently. Now, the IBT is a very easy test. It is an internet-based test. It is not expensive, especially if you're considering the cost in comparison to USMLE Step 2 CS. The turnaround for results is also pretty quick, and the other test I have recommended is the IELTS. I'm unsure how they're administering the IELTS these days, or the IELTS test, but that is something the candidates should find out, because this is another frequently accepted English language test by major universities. Now, while I'm not affiliated with ECFMG or any other decision-making bodies, I am confident that they would be accepting the TOEFL IBT as a standardized language test and also the IELTS as a test. So should you take the test now? Absolutely yes. There's no reason to wait for the announcement. The logic behind that is that this is a relatively cheap test, especially if you compare it to the USMLE Step 2 CS. You really don't have much to lose. The second thing is it will put you ahead of the curve. This will help you get tested at the right time. This will also help you get ECFMG certified early. Now, with all the additional time that you will have, you can focus on the so-called determinants of the match. Now, these determinants of the match are the important things programs look at while ranking a candidate. And the ultimate goal of the match is to get ranked and not merely pass an English language test. Now, another scenario to consider is if you are unsuccessful in this test. If you are unsuccessful in this test and you've taken this test early on, this leaves you some time to take the test again so that you can still get certified on time and get your scores reported to ECFMG. Now, staying ahead is also important because implementing social distancing and physical distancing protocols has had a potential effect on the testing capacity. Now, this may lead to reduced testing capacity as the pandemic's now getting better in a lot of places. Because of that, I suggest you should schedule this exam early. Once the ECFMG makes an official announcement, everybody's going to be rushing to take this test, and some of the slots might not be available, especially in the IMG dense regions of the country. At this time, there is a good availability of slots, and usually testing availability for such slots is not a problem. But imagine if everybody who's trying to apply for the match goes ahead and tries to book these slots altogether. That might produce a hurdle in people getting timely test appointments. There is a caveat to that, because these are my personal opinions. If you lose any money making a decision based on this advice, IMG Rank to Match LLC, www.imgrank2match, or myself are not liable for any financial losses. You do not want to be in a situation where you have saved a few $100s but wasted several weeks of precious time and caused yourself needless amount of stress, because that's the last thing anybody needs at this time. That is why my advice to every applicant here is to go ahead and take the TOEFL IBT exam and apply for ECFMG certification, so that you can focus on more important things as the match inches closer. By important things, I mean the determinants of the match, which are described in my previous podcast and some blog posts. Some of these important things are researching the programs, getting in touch with your contacts or your friends who are already in residency, making sure you have a polished application and a well-written personal statement, which is very important, making sure you reach out to different programs and ask relevant questions while remaining within the rules set forth by the NRMP and not violating any of these rules. Now, are you prepared for more changes that are coming? The other important thing to prepare for this match would be the video interviews. So be ready for that change. Programs have not officially announced this, but most programs are going to offer virtual interviews to candidates. And there are many pros to this, but there are also some cons. These interviews are going to be just as intense and important as the old interviews, and they will need a lot of preparation. Any change provokes anxiety. It is easier to sit in front of somebody in an office in a natural setting and have a two-way conversation. But if you're not used to having a lot of formal conversations on Zoom, Skype, or other platforms, then it is probably best that you realize the need to prepare for this change early on. So get the trivial things like the TOEFL test that doesn't cost much out of the way, because you have bigger things to prepare for in this match. If you have any questions about these standardized tests or you need help preparing for one, please email us at clientsupport@imgrank2match.com or set up a time to talk with me at our website www.imgrank2match.com. We have put together courses to evaluate your proficiency and recognize the areas that you might have a deficit in. And we want to help you improve these areas before you go and take your standardized English test. With the COVID-19 pandemic wreaking havoc on our hospital systems and filling our hospitals to surge capacities, we should be prepared for more changes in this difficult time. Physicians and healthcare workers on the front lines facing this pandemic are the hope that the society has, along with the scientists who are working hard to create vaccines and looking at drugs that might help us against this pandemic. We must make our larger goal in mind so that we can join the workforce to serve the people after getting matched, because there is going to be a great need even after this pandemic ends. So to all the hardworking medical students and graduates listening to this podcast today, thank you for what you're doing. You have signed up for a very noble profession, so please get ready for the upcoming match, because the country needs you, the world needs you, and we're going to be at the front lines against this pandemic. Make sure you manage your anxiety well, and please stay healthy. This is Dr. Kahlon from IMG Rank to Match, signing off. I wish you good health and great success. Good luck for the forthcoming match. Goodbye.